This is a 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. In this video, I'm going to go over the exterior as well as the interior, go over some performance data and talk about the specifications of this car. Now, I'd like to start with the exterior. Now, if you come to the front of the car, you notice it's completely different than the old Santa Fe. One of the big things that I've noticed with Hyundais is their nice mesh grille they've got going on here, as well as the lower mesh grille down there. Now, one of the other cool things is how narrow these headlights are. I'll show you those in a second. It's just crazy how you're able to incorporate all that technology in such a small light, as well as the fog lights down here. Now, if you follow me to this side of the car, this car has 18-inch wheels. They look very sporty, got this nice two-tone look to them. Now, if you follow me to the rear of the car, we're greeted by a very large rear end. Decent looking lower bumper with the giant single exit exhaust there, as well as the Santa Fe badging here and the H-Track all-wheel drive 2-liter turbo. It's got this nice rear deck lid spoiler. I think the overall rear end looks a little weird, but it's not for me. Now, to see how spacious the trunk of this car is, we're gonna do a trunk test. Now, not only do I fit in the back of here, but there's room for probably 2 or 3 more of me, which is good. Now, if you follow me to this side of the car, it's the same story as the other side. All very similar, very symmetrical, unlike the Veloster of last week. Now let's talk about what's under the hood of this car. This car is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing 235 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Let's see what that engine looks like, shall we? Now, under the hood is the turbo GDI engine. This engine is very smooth, little to no turbo lag. It's an easy engine to use. I think we should hear how it sounds, hey? Now that we've heard how the engine sounds, let's go to the back and get a big SUV exhaust clip. Now that we've gone over the exterior as well as some of the engine specifications, got an engine note and an exhaust clip, let's go for a drive. Before we go on with the rest of this review, I want to say a special thanks to Calgary Hyundai. They're the one who loaned me this car for the day. Special shout out to you guys. If you want to check them out, they're located in the Northeast Calgary. They've got a huge selection of new and used vehicles. Their website is linked in the description down below if you want to go check them out, and so is the link for this exact car. You can go find it there. So the 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. This car produces 235 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Now, it is a bigger SUV and therefore it is quite heavy, but that being said, if I put it into sport mode and I give it a bit of gas, it goes. It's actually pretty quick for such a big SUV that's not really designed to be sporty. Now, that engine is mounted to an 8-speed automatic transmission that shifts seamlessly without you even knowing it. You go along, shifts, you don't even feel them. Now let's talk the overall comfort of this car. Extremely comfortable, not gonna lie there at all. Absolutely nothing against the way that this car feels when it drives. Seats, extremely comfortable. Suspension and tires, you don't hear a lot of road noise, you don't hear a lot of anything on the outside, and it's a nice place to sit. You don't feel any of these bumps, and it just makes it a pleasant ride wherever you're going. Now let's talk about the interior quality of the Santa Fe. Now if you watched my last video on the Veloster, you will have noted that one of the things I didn't like about the car was the interior quality and how some of the pieces were the hard, cheap plastic. It's completely different in this car. I find all of the materials nice and soft to the touch, leather everywhere, as well as this nice fake looking carbon fiber. And yes, it is fake, but it looks good. Now in terms of driving ability, daily drivability, this car is very well built. The fuel economy is very good. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But in terms of the way this car feels and the ease of the drive, very easy. You have no problem whatsoever just getting in the car, pushing the start button and going. I think that this car is designed for a lot of people who need extra space but want a nice luxurious car but don't want to spend a whole lot of money. I find the car's ability to change directions and just the overall feel of the car extremely well built. Now the car we're driving today is equipped with everything, mostly everything I say. It doesn't have navigation and it doesn't have the premium sound system and the larger screen. That being said, as standard, this car comes with a 7-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Also comes with lane keep assist, lane change assist, blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, backup camera, front camera, 360 camera, and rear parking sensors. Honestly, the safety aspect of this car is unbelievable. I would have no problems whatsoever putting someone that I love into this car, you know, even if it's their first time driving it. It inspires so much confidence because it's a bigger SUV and it just makes things easy. And with all these options, it's just a wonderful place to sit. You have everything you need. Ventilated seats, and heated steering wheel. All of this stuff that just make it a nicer place to sit. One of the other cool things about this car is the fact that it has a main digital screen in the instrument cluster. Now, a lot of higher end car companies these days are putting full digital screens in their instrument cluster. And it's nice to see that Hyundai has decided to go that route as well. You know, right now you kind of have the likes of Range Rover and Audi and all these higher end brands that are doing this. And I think it's great that Hyundai is putting this sort of technology in their cars. Now let's talk about how this car handles twistier sections. Now this car is not, and I repeat, not designed for twisty roads and track use at all. But that being said, coming around these corners for a larger SUV that has a higher ride height, there's really no issues going around these corners at all. I mean, there's a tiny bit of body roll, but it's not that bad. It makes it seem easy. Like I said before, it's super easy to drive no matter what circumstance you're in. It's just confidence inspiring, and I love that about this car. In terms of fuel economy on the 2019 Santa Fe with the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, in the city you're going to average about 12.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, it's not amazing, but for a larger SUV, that's pretty good. Now, highway fuel economy, you're going to get about 9.8, which is even better. You know, you're on the highway, you're cruising, you don't really need to worry about gas because you have a 66-liter tank and you're doing 9.8 liters per 100 kilometer, which just makes it really easy. There's birds there. Combined, you're going to get about 11.2 liters per 100 kilometer, which evens it out and makes it pretty decent fuel economy. Now I'd like to talk about the 3 things that I love the most about this car and the 3 things that I think could be improved upon. Let's talk about the things I love first. Now, number 1 would have to be the digital dash. Like I said earlier, I think Hyundai's doing an amazing thing here. They're bringing in newer technology into their cars that really, as of late, only the higher end, more expensive cars have been bringing to the table. I think that it's really a nice leap forward, and it's showing that Hyundai's willing to go with the trends and make their cars more appealing to a wider variety of people. Now, number two, in my opinion, is the cleanliness of the interior and how everything is laid out. You do not have to be tech savvy at all to, you know, work everything. Everything is nicely laid out. You know what everything does. Number 3 is the safety aspect of this car. You do not need to worry when you're in this car. You have so many different technological systems that are helping you to ensure your safety. You know, like I said before, I would not hesitate at all to put a loved one in this car. Now let's talk about the things that I think could be improved upon. Now number one has to be, in my opinion, the exterior styling. It is subjective, but I think that there's a few different body lines that I think could be changed. Especially the back end. I think the back end looks extremely huge, which kind of makes it look a bit disproportionate. I think the front end looks good, and I think his side profile is good. I think the rear end, though, it's a little bit too chunky, in my opinion. Now, number two is, again, something that I personally experience due to the fact that I live in a climate where it gets really crazy and really hard to drive in the winter. Now, one of the things I like to have when I'm driving in the winter is paddles, simply because I like to be able to use engine braking when it's extremely slippery out. Now, obviously you can do it from here, but the thing I like about paddles is the fact that you have both hands on the steering wheel at all times instead of just having one when you're shifting down here. Now, I was in the middle of filming this video, and I was trying to think of a third thing to say, and having driven this car for a couple hours now, I can't seem to find a third reason that I can complain about. It's just everything about it, just the way everything's laid out, the way it drives, the safety aspect. It's so well built that there's really nothing else to say negatively about this car. Once again, thanks for watching JNS Daily Drives. If you like the review on this 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more videos from us, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date to our videos. Thanks for watching.